Hi, I'm Elsbeth,
And I'm Dennis.
and we're in love with backpacking.
We both have full-time jobs, but there's nothing we love more than getting out into the wilderness and camping.
Yeah, so we thought it'd be fun to make a list of our top 10 favorite backpacking trips and then see how close our lists are. Here are the rules. First, the backpacking trip has to involve carrying our stuff in a backpack to some place in the backcountry. Second, it has to be a trip that we've done together. Ready?
Let's do this.
Hey, so sorry for interrupting, but I just wanted to let you know while I was in the middle of editing, I went on a 3-day trip to the Sespe Hot Springs in Southern California, and it was absolutely amazing. It totally blew my socks off. I need a few days to process where and if it would fall on my list, but in the meantime, I thought I would just add it as a honorable mention, and also let you know that I will be publishing a video of my trip there in the next few weeks. If you're not already, you should subscribe and turn on notifications. That way when I do publish the video, you will be the first to know. Anyways, that's all. I will let you get back to the list. All right, bye. Kilimanjaro is Africa's highest mountain. Despite being over 19,000 feet tall, most of the major routes up the mountain are non-technical. In January of 2019, we hiked up via the Rongai Route. Rongai is interesting because it's the only trail up the mountain that starts from the north side of Kilimanjaro. That means you get to see views into Kenya. Climbing Kilimanjaro requires having a guide with you, and we went with the Kilimanjaro Brothers. We highly recommend them.
So Coyote Gulch is a canyon in Grand Staircase Escalante National Recreation Area in south central Utah. The most popular trailhead is called Hurricane Wash, and it's about 13 miles from the trailhead to the Escalante River. We did this trip in spring of 2017, and we camped one night at the Jacob Hamlin Arch. It's a very beautiful canyon, and most of it is in like ankle deep water.
Our ninth pick is Iceland Lake. Iceland Lake is one of the Granite Dome lakes in the Emigrant wilderness in Northern California. In order to get there, you hike south 9 miles on the trail out of Kennedy Meadows, and then you turn up and hike off trail on a giant granite slab until you get to the lake's basin. We went there for one night in the summer of 2018, and it was really an amazing experience. We still talk about going back.
Do you remember how many miles we had to do off trail?
I think it was like 2, but it felt like 7.
So my number 9th pick is Four Lakes Loop in the Trinity Alps in Northern California. As the name implies, the loop goes around 4 beautiful alpine lakes. So the most popular trailhead to start this hike from is called Lawn Canyon. However, when we did this, we opted to start from the Stony Ridge trailhead, which is a little bit longer of a hike, but the views were well worth it. So we actually made a video about this hike we did, and be sure to check it out.
My next pick is Cirque Towers. Cirque Towers is one of the premier climbing destinations in the Wind River Range in Wyoming. The easiest way to get there is by hiking to 11 miles down the Big Sandy Trail. You can reach the trailhead by driving about 2 hours south of the town of Pinedale in Wyoming. We spent a couple days there over Independence Day in 2019. Is that when we went?
Yeah.
And there were definitely a lot of other people while we were there, so do not head to the Wind River Range looking for solitude.
So my number 7th pick is Ducey Basin, which is in the High Sierras in Kings Canyon National Park. So you can start this trail in South Lake, which is near the town of Bishop. So the hike is about 7 miles into the core of Ducey Basin area, and we had an epic sunset the night we camped there.
All right, my next pick is Havasupai, and Havasupai needs no introduction. If you hike 8 miles into the Grand Canyon, you will find the most unbelievable turquoise waters you have ever seen. I was actually kind of nervous to go there because I thought it wasn't going to live up to the hype, but it blew me away. We went in the spring of 2018. We stayed for 1 night, which was a huge mistake. Definitely stay longer. I think nowadays there's a minimum 3-night requirement, but it is totally worth it. Oh, is this the same thing?
And so this is our number 5th pick, and it's in Yosemite National Park. And the trail goes from Cathedral Lakes Trailhead down into the valley. And so the first day we had from the trailhead to Sunrise High Camp. And then from there, the next day, we woke up and we hiked over Clouds Rest and down into Little Yosemite Valley for another night. And then we woke up pretty early the next morning since we had permits for Half Dome. And then so we went back up to Half Dome. We climbed up the cables, and then we finally made our way down into Happy Isles down in Yosemite Valley. That's not a backpacking trip.
So Northwestern Lagoon is one of the many bays in Kenai Fjords National Park up in Alaska. Technically, this was a kayak camping trip, but all of our stuff was in a backpack in the kayak, so I think it counts. So Northwestern Lagoon used to be Northwestern Glacier, but it has receded significantly in the last few decades. Despite this sad reality, the trip there, the scenery was out of this world, absolutely unreal. We spent 3 days there, and it's some of my best memory camping of my entire life. We are not avid kayakers, so we had this entire thing organized for us by Joe Allen of Allen's Adventures out of Seward, Alaska.
So my number 4th pick is a loop we did in the Onslow Adams Wilderness. We started this hike from Agnew Meadows, and we went up the PCT to Thousand Island Lake, and then around Garnet Lake, and finally to Adiza Lake. And then we were going to actually do some off-trail scrambling, but unfortunately the creek fire had just started, and so the smoke was pretty bad, and then we saw a bunch of people leaving, so we ended up cutting our trip short by, I think, 2 days, and we had to go back to the car. Hopefully we can do this trip again some other time. Nice.
Our 3rd favorite backpacking trip is the W in Torres del Paine National Park in Chile. The W hits most of the highlights of the park, and it happens to be shaped like a W, hence the name. Planning and booking the W can be a huge logistical nightmare. Okay, so you can also stay in lodges or you can pack a tent. There's lots of options, but they book up really fast. We did this over 3 nights in 2016 as part of a Whirlwind South America trip that we went on. We ended up doing a combination of camping and staying at the hotels on the trail. Is that
the hotel?
we stayed in tents that were put up by the lodges.
Okay.
I think both of us want to go back and do the O.
Well, it was definitely the highlight of the trip.
Yeah, it was definitely the highlight of South America. Nice.
So my number 2 pick is Route Burn, which is one of New Zealand's so-called Great Walks. I don't know what else it is.
So-called Great Walks.
That's what they're called. Okay. And I believe it's around a 20-mile through hike. And it takes you along Mount Aspiring and then into Fiordland National Park. Like most of the Great Walks, most people stay in huts rather than camp in tents. And so that's what we did. And we didn't have to bring, our tents. And we did this up in February of 2018.
And our all-time favorite backpacking trip, Mount Assiniboine. So Mount Assiniboine is known as the Matterhorn of the Canadian Rockies. It is sort of right at the border of Alberta and British Columbia, so really close to Canmore and Banff. So the shortest hike to get to the campsite is 12 miles one way, but there is a backcountry lodge. And because of that, you can opt to take a helicopter. So when we went, we opted to send our stuff in on the helicopter and then hike the trail that takes you past Marble Lake and over the Wonder Pass. We went in September 2019 and it was so beautiful. The larches were yellow because it was autumn. We had clear weather for the most part. And funnily enough, we actually met somebody there who had to get search and rescued out of Route Burn.
No. No.
Thanks so much for watching. Let us know in the comments if you've done any of these trips and what your favorite would be. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, and that way you can get more backpacking content. The shortest trail to the campsite is 12 miles one way.
Oh, wow.